Hello everyone, my name is Natalie and I'm a PA student in Puerto Rico. I'm currently changing my career from classical musician to physician assistant. And I'm also a mommy to a 6-month-old beautiful baby girl. So I know that in my last video, which I meant to upload in January, I said that I was going to be uploading new videos every week. Well, that didn't happen because the first trimester of PA school was so intense.
So how was your first trimester at PA school?
And I just didn't have time to make any videos yet. But I'm so excited to get back on it and share my journey with you guys and also share something super cool and fun that we learn every week. So I'm super happy to report that I survived the first trimester of PA school and I even got straight A's in all of my classes. And I'm so proud of that, not just because PA school is so hard, but because I was able to pump breast milk for my baby and also spend a little time with her every night and spend some time with my husband every week. Probably not as much as I should, but some. Because to be honest, PA school is really designed for young single people. But that said, if you are a non-traditional student, you have a family, and you feel calling to go back to school for anything, absolutely do it. You can do it. Don't let anyone tell you that it's going to be too hard or you're going to have no life. Because let me tell you, if I can do it, you can absolutely do it. So PA school isn't necessarily hard because of the classes themselves, but just because of how fast they are and how much you have to memorize in so little time. For me, the biggest struggle I had this trimester was definitely the sleep deprivation. I know that a lot of students stay up late studying and don't get a lot of sleep, but in my case, I also had to get up 4 or 5 times a night to feed the baby, and I love her and absolutely wouldn't trade her for any other baby, but she's not the best sleeper or eater. So, but my husband has been so helpful, especially, for example, on days when I have a test in the morning, and our tests are usually at 8:30 in the morning, and I live an hour away from the school. Sometimes my husband will take all the shifts that night so I can get a good 6 or 7 hours of sleep, which is amazing. I remember before I became a mom that I thought that I would just die of exhaustion if I only got 6 hours of sleep a night, and I would have like a headache and be grouchy all day. But now, if I get 6 hours of sleep, I feel like I am on top of the world and I can conquer everything. So to be honest, the sleep deprivation really started to get to me around month 3, where I started to notice that my memory was being a little bit affected. And when I would study for tests, I would kind of be like, wow, I know that we learned about this in class, but I don't really remember it very well. So I just had to spend extra time studying, do a lot of repetition, and do a lot of quizzing, which I'll share with you guys in another video, some of my techniques that I used. And I actually feel like because of all the repetition I did, I really retained the information that I learned for long term, which is going to be awesome because when I do become a PA, I'm going to remember it and I'm going to be well prepared. I thoroughly enjoyed all my classes this trimester. It was so awesome to be able to focus on medicine because during my prerequisites, I was also working in the orchestra. So I was always dividing my time between both things. So we had anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, microbiology, all of those awesome things. And something very unexpected in anatomy class that none of us were expecting is that for the tests, we had to memorize the Gray's Anatomy question book. And some of these questions were so complicated, some of the conditions were kind of rare. And so I remember like reading some of the questions and thinking, I don't know anything is going on in this, and just having to research it. And I really did go through and learn every question. And at the end of the semester, it was really cool because of the way that we were tested. I really retained that information. And every day I come across a situation where I'm able to think back to those Gray's Anatomy questions and be like, oh yeah, that's the answer. Like for example, last week in cadaver lab, we were looking at brains, which was awesome. And the professor asked a question about a cranial nerve. What would happen? What were some things that could happen if that cranial nerve were damaged? And right off the bat, I was able to give 3 things because of those Gray's Anatomy questions. So it goes to show if your teachers are PAs or MDs, even if you kind of think, oh, why are they testing me like that? Or why are they teaching me like that? Just trust them because they know what's going on. They know how you're going to be tested in the future. Our hardest class this trimester was not anatomy. It was definitely a molecular mechanisms of disease, also known as biochemistry. That class was very hard because not only did we have to learn really complicated processes, but we also had to memorize so much. We had to memorize all the enzymes for glycolysis, the Krebs cycle. We had to memorize a ton of stuff for glycogenolysis, glycogenesis, all of those processes in the body. But it was really cool to see how that information tied in with pharmacology as we were learning that also. So right now I want to share with you guys something very interesting and kind of funny that we learned in biochemistry that was actually on our last test. And that is the answer to the question, why is our pee yellow and why is our poo brown? It has to do with a rainbow of reactions that happen in order to recycle the contents of retired red blood cells.
The red blood cell is the cell in your body that carries oxygen from your lungs to all your organs. It uses an iron-containing molecule called hemoglobin to carry the oxygen. The thing about red blood cells is that they don't have a nucleus, so they can't repair themselves when they get damaged. So every red blood cell has a lifespan of only about 120 days, and after that they go into retirement and their contents have to be recycled or disposed. So, when a red blood cell needs to retire, it goes into the spleen or liver where a macrophage eats it. Inside the macrophage, enzymes break the hemoglobin down into heme and other proteins, and then that heme is converted to biliverdin, which is actually green. That releases the iron so it can be used. Then that biliverdin is converted into bilirubin, which is yellow-orange. Next, bilirubin hitches a ride on the transport protein albumin to the liver if it wasn't there already. In the liver, bilirubin is conjugated. This conjugated bilirubin is secreted into the bile, which goes into the small intestine. In the intestine, bacteria convert conjugated bilirubin into urobilinogen, which is colorless. This urobilinogen can go one of two places. Some gets absorbed back into the blood and goes to the kidney. In the kidney, urobilinogen is converted to urobilin, which is yellow. And that's why your pee is yellow. The rest of the urobilinogen keeps going through the intestines, where bacteria there convert it to stercobilin, which is brown. And guess where stercobilin ends up?
Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to subscribe. In the next video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my tips and tricks for surviving PA school or graduate school in general with a baby. I know I'm not a super expert because I've only survived the first trimester of PA school, and there's a lot of super hard stuff to come, but I have learned some lessons that I'd love to share with other mommies or daddies who are thinking of going back to school. Also, in general, I'm just going to share something really interesting and fun that we learn in PA school each week. So please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks again for watching, and see you on the next one.